Hey everyone. So there we go. The 13th episode of Voltron Legendary Defenders 8th season. The end is the beginning. The finale to not just the season, but the entire series itself. I, of course, have recapped previous season finales scene by scene as best as I can recall what's especially noteworthy at the time. But given this episode's full conclusiveness, I'm not gonna do it with this one. I feel like that would be a bad move on my part. But I will kind of describe some of the things that connect from the previous episode into this one. Minerva finally found what seemed to be her ideal reality, where there was peace between the Galra and the Alteans. Diabazal and Altea are fully prospering worlds. And their version of Minerva did marry Zarkon, become Empress of Diabazal, and they eventually had a son, Lotor. But apparently she died under undisclosed circumstances. So she considered herself, kind of just like a spiritual, quite literally crossing universes, return to peace for their family. But Lotor understood that as much as she seemed to be, she was not his mother. And upon threatening Lotor for denouncing her, Zarkon did as well, and that drove her anger, her pain, to its ultimate limit, just as Atlas Voltron arrived to continue and hopefully end the fight, battling throughout the city before she left again to make her disastrous final move. Guess another rundown of more powers and weaponry demonstrated between the gigantic mechs in this one. Atlas Voltron, the sword can be kind of psychically drawn back. Good comparison is Mjolnir to Marvel's Thor. And also eye energy beams from its actual face, not just the lion head on its chest. Sort of knuckle claws, either knuckle or wrist. For melee combat. But Minerva's combined Robeast and Syncline is continuing to show how versatile it is. Expectedly, the tail is prehensile. It functions as a very strong fifth limb. Of course, it can drain quintessence through either its blades, its tail. It can fire energy blasts out of its hands. Can draw a sword from each of its wrists. the wing blades can converge around one of the swords to form a colossal drill. And of course, it can manifest the multiversal rift through the interesting visual of launching its blades into the sky and basically stabbing it in the middle of the sky, cracks just appearing in the atmosphere as the circular rift opens up. But I won't really discuss any more specific details of where character and story go. Although actually another power of Atlas Voltron, like its, normal mech self can do on occasion, its wings and thrusters can be enhanced and upgraded in a pinch. I think that's all the major abilities worth noting. But yeah, this episode basically had it all when it comes to emotion and impact for characters and viewers alike. There's victory and joy, sacrifice and heartbreak, reflecting on the past, looking to the future, cherishing existing bonds. Oh, that noise again. Cherishing existing bonds, establishing new ones. Just happy reflection and sober realizations. Just an overall message of unity and progress, like the show has expressed many, many times before. Several characters face very prosperous futures on big and small scales. I will note that one character point, while very nice to see, I can understand it being kind of a patching up of a previous mistake, previous regret. I still enjoyed it. Still liked that choice being made. I will note that there are some time skips, at the very least. Plenty of hellos and goodbyes. I think this one was written by Joaquim dos Santos and Lauren Montgomery. And they basically put their all into giving this a good wrap-up with what the show had given before and what this episode runtime allowed. And I can't speak for other viewers necessarily, but I will say that the impact was effective enough to bring tears to my eyes. I cried in quite a few emotional ways over the course of this one. So that's the final episode. To look back on this season overall, definitely what brought a lot of the A game back, of course. Voice acting, animation quality, the major characteristic of action and adventure, much more dramatic, understandably, but still some welcome comedy and lightheartedness along the way. Even when things seemed especially dramatic and urgent, there was the occasional laugh to be had. Of course, there was further reflections of the past, the impact on the present, and the considerations for the future. This was a good show. I'd say a slight fault of it was because they were basically working to world build, ideally an entire universe. That made the series a little more kind of in the wider scheme of things, based on encounters and adventures. And of course, there was still plenty of big story and important themes showcased episode by episode, season by season. Plenty of character growth. But I'd say, in trying to make the scale so big, it was kind of an impossible undertaking for the crew and cast to, make it as big as the setting would seem. But it was still a good journey to embark on, getting to know these characters, these settings, these people. Connecting to the values that they cherish. I can't say for 100% certain, so I don't want to make a promise here, but I would like to do sort of a bigger reflection video on the series as a whole. Maybe, again, another season rundown at each point, binging the whole show all over again. But whether or not that comes to pass early next year, that's basically the end for these vlogs. It was a fun time watching the show. Kind of a clumsy time coming on camera, showing myself on camera, recapping things, providing my opinion. But I hope you enjoyed them, if you've watched these along the way to any extent. Not sure what kind of impact this will leave looking back on them for the channel as a whole, but it is what it is, at least. So, well, of course, my interests, this channel's growth will continue for some time. For the sake of these videos, this playlist, it's no longer a see ya, it's a goodbye. So, goodbye, everyone.